Okay, so today we're looking at the Ninja iced and hot coffee maker. This is a CM300. Comes with a quick start guide, obviously instructions, but apparently it's got a removable water filter, a removable basket that will pop out of here, but you can also use paper filters. It's information, it's good to know that it doesn't advertise, so if you're a paper filter person like I am, this will still work. I hate using the permanent filters, as they call them, because you have to take them out, clean them every time. With a paper filter, you know, I use recycled paper. Use it, throw it out, or recycle it, because your coffee grounds can be recycled too in your yard and garden. Does 6 different brew sizes, from small to full carafe, and there's 3 different flavor profiles. So there's a classic brew, a rich brew, and over ice. I'm not a big ice person, but I got this just in case my daughter was to come over. She likes iced coffee. So I've gotten it out of the box. I did its cleaning brew cycle already. Basically you fill it up with water and let it run. So I've done that. It's basically priming the machine. So now I'm gonna go ahead and test out a half carafe of coffee. Stay tuned. Okay, so here's the Ninja coffee maker. You can remove this reservoir completely and fill it up. I've already got it full to the halfway mark, or you can just flip open the top, use the carafe or whatever vessel and pour in your water. I'm going to go ahead and use a paper filter. So I'm going to pull out the permanent filter, which is right here, and I'm going to fold the edges of the paper filter. Okay, open it up, drop it in. Now Ninja has its own built-in scoop. I have my own scoop in here that I usually use, but I'm going to use theirs, and it's parked on this side here. Okay, so it's got measurements: 2 to 3 small scoops, 3 to 5 small scoops, depending on the size of your small coffee or your iced coffees. And then for your carafes, it's 3 to 4 or 4 to 6 of these scoops. Now my scoop is actually about 2 of these put together. So I'm going to go ahead and use their recommendation. I'm going to start off with 3 scoops. Actually, let me test my scoop, because I like my scoop. So we'll fill up my scoop and see how many. Yeah, so my scooper holds 2. So we'll put 2 in, plus 1 to make 3. All right, so we'll go ahead and close this back. Drip is on or off. You can pause it. So if you need a cup of coffee while it's still brewing, you can slip that over to stop and open it back up when you're ready. It's got a clock, it's got a delay. So we're going to go ahead and hit the power button. You want to set it to how much water you have here. So we have half. So I'm going to turn the knob to half and it lights up. And I'm going to hit classic. Once you hit classic, it starts to run. Last night I should say, when I ran a tank of water on full or max, it took probably 5 minutes to do the whole reservoir of water. So I'm hoping that this will take half the time. Stay tuned. Okay, so if you look at the time, minus a minute or 2, since it took me a while to set up the camera, and actually what happened halfway through this is it paused and allowed water to leave the reservoir and cycle in the basket to get more of the coffee extraction completed. before it allowed it to start dripping again. So it's got kind of a pause feature here. Also keeps that water hot as it's coming out, so that you do get more of that coffee extraction, which I think is pretty cool. So just for safety here, I'm gonna flip this drip thing to off. It's not required, but I'm gonna put it to off just to see what happens. See if it actually drips, because I always have water, coffee dripping onto the hot plate. I'm not even sure if this has a hot plate because it's got a thermal carafe. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out. And there's no lip on the carafe here. So I'm gonna see how it pours. And I'm gonna go ahead and give it a whirl. It's pouring pretty nice. No issues with it coming or dripping down the roll or the lip of the carafe. And there's nothing on the outside of the carafe, which is awesome, because even with the grooved carafes, sometimes it'll overflow and drip down and whatnot. So with that said, there is no hot plate here. So what that means is that it heats up at the heating element up here, which is why it paused, to keep it consistent, and then it dispenses into a very heavy thermal carafe, which is nice, because if you have kids or your pets or whatever and they happen to get up here, they're not going to touch a hot plate like, you know, some of your other brands that use the hot plate to keep it warm throughout the day. I have not looked up to see how long this will stay warm. That'll be some information I need to research. But I'm going to go ahead and open this back up, just in case there's any residual liquid in there that'll drip down. And that's about it. I guess since there's no hot plate, you could technically turn it off at this point. I'm going to leave it on and see what happens though. So, alright, I'm going to go ahead and give this coffee a taste. And actually, let's do that right now. Let's see how hot this really is, because I can feel it through the cup. I mean, it feels hot. Actually. Let's do this. Alright, we have a meat thermometer here we're going to use to see. Whoa. 130, 140, 150. 160. We're sitting at about 161. And this is an old thermometer, so how accurate this is, I could not tell you, but I know because it shot up so quick, it is hot. So I'm going to go ahead and trust the 160 degree mark, which will burn you. So I may not take a sip of this right now. I kind of like it a little bit cooler. It's not too bad actually. At 3 scoops, you can definitely taste the coffee. And I'm using just your average, you know, run-of-the-mill Folgers coffee. So, alright. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. This is the Ninja CM300. So far so good on the first brew. We'll give it a little bit of time to break in, and I may do an update if necessary. But otherwise, so far so good. I'm liking it. Alright, on to the next.